What is going on, guys? My name is Sean Barnard, and today I'm here with MDBetting.com, here to give a sportsbook review. Today, I'm about to break down Betfred Sportsbook, talk about the pros and cons of the app and sportsbook itself, what to expect, the deposit methods, how to place a wager, register, and everything else you need to know. Before I dive fully into it, I'd just like to remind you guys that you can check out MDBetting.com. The link will be in the description for this video. Make sure that you can get a more in-depth version of what I'm talking about in written form of them breaking down the pros and cons, what to expect, and any other questions that you might have, as well as that you can capitalize on the best possible promo codes directly through our website. So there will be a link directly in that website that you can click on. It'll take you right to the sportsbook and make sure that you're getting those best possible promo codes. So I will circle back to that later, but I want to jump in and talk about Betfred Sportsbook here. One of the more unique sportsbook that I've talked about over the course of the reviews. And the reason that I say that is I'm going to bring up this screen here, what makes you select the state that we'll be checking in. And the reason that I bring this up is when you think about a FanDuel or a DraftKings, that generally is the same exact interface, same exact technology, and then it looks the same in each place. That is not the case with Betfred Sportsbook, that they make sure to personalize and make the experience a little different based on the state lines. And one of the biggest ways that they do that, I'm going to click on Maryland here. So we flip to it, is by having a brick and mortar location that is essentially their home base within the state. So on this, when it takes you here, it does push you to download the app. Their app downloads have been doing really growing at an impressive rate. So even though they were a little late to the game, Betfred Sportsbook is one of only legal in 7 states at this point, and just recently legalized in Maryland. But they have done an impressive job of gaining momentum early. So they're clearly pushing for those app downloads there. I'm going to go through the mobile version or the desktop version throughout this video, so it may look slightly different, but this is kind of the same idea, the same principle. So the reason that I mentioned this is Betfred Sportsbook, they have Long Shots as their home base and their location. This is located in Fredericksburg, Maryland. This is a bit of what the bar looks like. So they do have a brick and mortar physical location. And a little blurb about what they write here is it says, the Betfred Sportsbook at Long Shots is the newest and hottest sportsbook in all of Maryland. Step into the 6,300 square foot sportsbook with 157 seats, an 80-panel TV wall, 12 kiosks, 24 beers on tap, in-house smoked barbecue, and daily food and drink specials. Hit the betting counter to make your cash bets and deposit or withdraw cash to and from your Betfred online account. So that they are embracing that brick and mortar location. And once again, here's a little look at what they're talking about here. And they are offering you that in-person experience, which cannot be rivaled on a number of sportsbooks. So a little point in the Betfred Sportsbook favor there. Now I do want to jump and switch gears and look at the actual sportsbook interface itself. So once you click past that and you get to the mobile website here it is, md.betfredsports.com for Maryland. This is a look at what the interface looks like. Let me blow it up a little bit here. And overall, the first thing that you're going to want to do when you do create these, or when you do get logged onto the app, is the first thing is you're going to create an account. So you can see at the top right here that there is the login and register buttons. We're going to go to that register button to show what is done. You're going to have to go through all the basic steps. I will say the Betfred Sportsbook process for creating an account is a little more accelerated than most sportsbook. That with under 10 minutes, you can be up and ready to place your first bet. Sometimes it gets a little tedious jumping through all the hoops, making sure that you're accomplishing everything that needs to be done throughout the login process. But it is the same basic principle here on Betfred Sportsbook, that your first name, last name, date of birth, the last 4 of your social, verifying your location, address, all these things. It is the same general principle across all sportsbook, but I just wanted to take a look at what Betfred looks like here. So let's say we get registered, we go through our spot, and we are logged in. The next thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you're depositing money. So you're going to go to your account and click on the deposit button, which will be shown right here. And that is one of the things that I like to point out as a negative on Betfred Sportsbook, that there's not a ton of diverse options when it comes to how to get money in and out of your account. Betfred accepts the following deposit methods. Number 1, an instant bank transfer, PayPal, Play Plus, a credit card, a debit card, and a VIP preferred. So they do not accept Apple Pay, Skrill, or Venmo in Maryland. And it also, another thing of note that this is a little bit of a negative here, is that they do not allow you to withdraw money directly onto the card that you placed it on. So you cannot withdraw onto a card. Even if it is the same one that you did place the deposit in, it is not allowed on the Betfred Sportsbook. So that is a little bit of a negative there. In the long run, not a huge deal, but something that I did want to bring up. But now that we're in, let's take a look at the actual interface itself and what to expect. When you scroll down on the left here, you can see all the options for sports betting. We have the NFL, college football, MLB, men's U.S. Open, women's U.S. Open, UFC, WNBA, soccer, CFL, the FIBA World Cup. And if you scroll down a little far, you can drop down to the A to Z sports to make sure that they're in the order. The alternative sports you can jump on here. This was a little surprising to see that they offered this, but they have bull riding and surfing as wagers. That if that is your thing and something you're interested, you can get involved. It does bring up the live betting right on the screen here. Each of these games are already going on. I know I've talked about live betting on a ton of these as something that has grown a ton in popularity. It does offer you the ability to capitalize on value, which otherwise might not be there. For example, if you're watching a game and a huge favorite takes the lead or the huge favorite falls behind, you can bet on them to make a comeback and get them at a value that otherwise would not be the case. With live betting, you have to make sure that you're on your toes, acting quick because it is constantly changing, but that is an important factor there. Now let's look at how to place an actual bet here. Let's go to the NFL tab to bet on a football game, the NFL season coming up. And number one, the Washington Commanders. We're going to pop this up on Sunday. So before week one, they are facing the Arizona Cardinals. A good amount of buzz surrounding Washington Commanders coming off last season where they had an okay year, showing signs of progress, and then a ton of buzz this offseason. We know Daniel Snyder finally sold the team. Josh Harris taking over, that there is a vibe of excitement surrounding the organization. Finally, the identity change that they've wanted for so long. And they will be facing the Arizona Cardinals. So at home against a team that is projected to be among the worst in the league in the Arizona Cardinals, who will be without Kyler Murray and a new coach, new whole situation over there in Arizona. So it's in a perfect spot for the Commanders to produce a blowout victory. And I believe that. So I'm going to go to the -7 to click on the spread here. And how you would place a wager is just by clicking on this, typing in your amount. So I'm going to type in $22. 22 to win 42 there is what that would be at -110 odds. So you just click on that, and that would be the way to do the straight bet there. And maybe I'm feeling so confident that I want that as a part of my parlay here. So the first leg of the parlay will be the Commanders -7, and I'm going to look at a game later. Let's drop into the 49ers versus Steelers, and I don't think they're going to reach that 41 points. These are two teams that are known for their defense and star-studded on the defense when it comes to Nick Bosa, who finally signed a contract, and TJ Watt, who's among the most dominant defenders in the game. I'm going to click on these two here. You, of course, can still wager them straight. If I want to take the under 41 here at -105 odds, I can directly type it in this box and just go through to place the wager. Or if I want to combine them in a parlay, it already does it for you. So you can see the 2-leg parlay that gives plus 272 value. I'm going to put a 20 there, and that would pay out 74 potential dollars in that. So good value there, and you can do that for as many legs as you want. Let's say I'm feeling ultra confident, and I want to throw the over in the Jaguars versus Colts there. So the same exact process, and it spits out the value right here so you can see it. And the same thing that you can take these solo, take them individually, or just drop it in here to drop the parlay there. So same exact process there. Now, this is not just purely specific to one game sets. If you want to go to the NFL futures, you're going to click up there. I want to go to the Super Bowl odds. So number one, you can see the Kansas City Chiefs are the favorites, the defending champions. The Philadelphia Eagles right behind them at plus 650. Of course, lost in the Super Bowl last year. But let's dig a little deeper into the odds. So you can see the odds to win the AFC, odds to win the NFC, odds to win the NFC West division, comeback player of the year, offensive player of the year, a ton of options, just about everything you want. And this can be a little more fun when you know that you are wagering on making sure that you are paying attention to a season-long bet. So it is not just one and done, whether you win or not. You have a chance to really dig in and make sure that you're paying attention from start to finish on the year. Let's look at the regular season sacks leader. So let's see, something that I think I can take a chance on. So you're scrolling down, you see the options, see the favorites, and let's say you want to jump out, and I think Chase Young is ready to truly step into the spotlight this year. Not that he's a secret by any means at this point in his career, a guy that was a highly regarded pick, but I think this is the year he breaks out. So plus 6,000 odds to lead the NFL in sacks this year. If I want to drop $10 on that at plus 600, that's a potential $610 payout. So they do have all these season-long wagers that you can pay attention to, and it's the same exact process there. You cannot parlay a lot of them. It's a little harder with that. That is another downside to it. But in general, I would like to point out as a pro to Betfred Sportsbook that in general, the odds are a little more forgiving than the general sportsbook. That generally when you're comparing sites, comparing side to side of what is the best value, a lot of times Betfred Sportsbook has a better value or a better number that you can get it at. And in the long run, that can make a major difference. Sometimes a -7 versus a -7.5 can come into play, and whether you're pushing or losing a bet. So those things do matter and something to keep in mind. But overall, those the general look of the site. You also can make sure to check out on any promotions here by clicking in the top. This offers a number of things. They have the Betfred boost, and a lot of times the bonus bets that are given out are called Fred bets. That is the name for them. So make sure to keep in mind that. And they do offer some rewards for a number of different things that you can check out. So they have the birthday Fred bet. So a cool little thing there that they do offer. There are got a lot of rewards, and they have a VIP member where you can help. And as I mentioned, that one of the things that does distinguish them is having the physical location that they can set up events for and everything like that. So it is important to get enrolled in the Betfred Rewards program. There are some rewarding options in this, and it is not one of those things where it's a waste and just kind of something for it. There is some genuine value that is given back. And as I mentioned in the first off, make sure to check out mdbetting.com to click the link and get started in the promotion categories right away to set yourself in the best possible place off the bat, and everything else can follow. Now, as far as the sportsbook as a whole, I do want to jump into just my overall thoughts on what I would rank it and how it stacks up. The welcome bonus, I do think, is very appealing. That would be a 5 out of 5. That is a perfect notch there. There's a ton to make sure that you're capitalizing on the right offers, but you can really set yourself in a good spot to make sure that you're getting the most bang for the buck and maximizing your potential when it comes to wagering. The payment options aren't awesome. Probably a 3 out of 5 will throw there. That depositing is easy, but the withdrawing can be a bit confusing. And also there's just not as many options as you would really hope for. The Venmo and Apple Pay are too specific that I would say are probably things that need to catch up and get rolling. The sportsbook as a whole, the app design is a little boring. It doesn't have quite the visual appeal as some of the competitors, but performance-wise, it does the job. It has everything you want. There are a lot of options when it comes to the futures markets, which I think is very important, and it does, work exactly as functions. So that is the most important thing. And as I mentioned, sometimes the odds are a little bit friendlier, which is a huge positive there. The variety in features, there aren't a ton when you're comparing it against the bigger dogs of the market, that there are some things that Betfred Sportsbook does leave off as far as the more diverse options when it comes to sports betting. You're going to get the basic when it comes to NFL, NBA, all those things. But if you're searching for like a specific college bet or maybe a tennis or a sports bet, a specific one that you're looking for, you're not always going to find it on the site. So it's not ideal with that. The customer service, I will give a good rating to, that they do offer 24/7 chat. We'll go 4 out of 5 on the customer service because there is a little confusion with it. And one of the things that, in the same way that it is sectored through the Maryland and through the other states by having its own design and specific towards that, the customer service is in the same breath there, that there is a specific Maryland customer service sector, that is where all the complaints and the things will be mentioned. And they do offer by phone, by email, and of course the 24/7 chat, as I mentioned. So overall, I would recommend Betfred Sportsbook as a sportsbook option for you guys. It is a little different, and it depends what you are truly into and searching for. If that type of experience and live in person is something that appeals to you, this is an awesome option by building those rewards, potentially creating opportunities for yourself and opening up potential options for yourself. So make sure to check that out. Check out MD Betting to make sure that you're getting the best options when it comes to registering for that. It does come down to preference. This is not a sportsbook that I would say is for everybody. And if you are just in it for, the best odds and the easiest access, if you're traveling a lot and want to go across state lines, it's probably not the best option for that. But it does have a number of unique features. I do think the rewards are spot on, and it does reward people who are already users, which I think is something that a lot of sportsbooks lack. So overall, positive review for Betfred Sportsbook. I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe, and check out mdbetting.com. Peace.